Dragi gledatelji, dobrodošli. Ja sam Ines Žižić, a vi gledate Atma podcast iz Atma Centra u Splitu. Danas imam čast razgovarati s dva izuzetna gosta. Prvi je Stephen Roy Parker, kanadsko-američki duhovni učitelj s više od 35 godina iskustva u meditaciji i više od 20 godina profesionalne prakse u Theta iscjeljivanju. Jedan je od prvih međunarodnih učitelja ThetaHealing metode s titulom majstora i certifikata znanosti. Stephen je kreirao metodu Magnetska aktivacija srca s kojom već godinama djeluje diljem svijeta, od Sjedinjenih Američkih Država i Meksika do Europe i Azije. S nama je također i Siniša Bošković, osnivač Theta Centra u Hrvatskoj. ThetaHealing tehniku prakticira i podučava od 2010. godine, a od 2011. aktivno organizira seminare i radionice po cijeloj regiji. Upravo je Siniša bio taj koji je doveo Stevena u Hrvatsku i već više od 10 godina njih dvojica surađuju na širenju metode aktivacije srca među ljudima na našim prostorima. U današnjem razgovoru saznaćemo što su to aktivacije srca, kako djeluju, kome su namijenjene i zašto bi mogle biti upravo ono što vam treba na vašem putu osobnog razvoja. Pa krenimo! Dear Stephen, dear Sinisha, welcome to Atma Center Split. Welcome to Atma Podcast. It's really a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you. We're really happy to be here.
Thank you so much.
I believe we have a really valuable topic for today, something which was not so much into the focus of Atma podcast, so it's a perfect time to discuss it. And who better than Stephen? So, but I will. My first question is going to be for Sinisha. Yes. So, Sinisha, you are working with Stephen over a decade. And can you tell us a little bit more about what is magnetic heart activation? I must see to pronounce it correctly. And why did you decide to bring it to Croatia? Are we ready for it?
We've been ready for it for a long time. Actually, I didn't bring it to Croatia. Stephen already had a few organizers before me. And it was 2014. And I already gone through levels 1 and 2, which he will discuss later. And I was having a healing center with my colleague Nada from Theta Centra in Rijeka. And we just wanted to organize an activation because, well, to be completely honest, I didn't have any more money than I had the money that I needed for my life, and that was it. I didn't have to pay for the activation, and I really wanted it. So we called Steve and said, Steve, do you want to come? We have some people here, and can you give us the activation? Honestly, completely honestly, and I thought Steve was going to say no, because we're these schmucks to interfere in his life. But he said yes, and we began calling a few people and ended up having 14 people in Rijeka. And he came, we did the activation, and I got level 3. And it was amazing, and I went shopping afterwards, and I bought clothes for 5,000 kunas, and I didn't know that was going to happen.
Wow.
The level 3 is about feminine energy, and I kind of awoken this unusual aspect of myself that I wanted to go shopping.
You went to shopping spree, yeah.
Yeah, I went on a shopping spree, and later on Steve said it's one of the side effects. I was like, oh my God.
What else is coming?
Yeah, that's the only thing we get real complaints about. I spent too much money after the 3rd level.
Yeah.
It's your fault. So now I have to tell people if that happens, I'm not paying for your clothes.
That's funny.
That's what... Yeah.
And it's been years since I told them actually what happened. But anyways, I was happy about it, and we talked to the people later, and they were actually amazed and how the process worked, and they got some amazing healings from it, and a lot of them were actually there for the first time, so they got the level 1, which Steve is going to talk about later. And they asked us, when is Steve coming again to Croatia? Like, we're gonna continue. So in about, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, he was coming through Croatia again, and we gathered another group. And at the time there was only levels 1, 2, 3, 4. Mm-hmm. So I got the level 4 again for free. We organized some people, and Steve gave me and my colleague an activation, and it was another amazing event. People really got healed, they got their emotions moved, blocks got removed out of their way, and I was like, wow. And level 4 is about self-confidence, and I got this unwavering confidence inside of me. And it kind of turned into, oh, why don't we bring in Steve at least once a year? Mm-hmm. And then suddenly it became a regular thing, and we really kind of were looking forward to every time he called us and said, I'm going through Croatia, do you guys want an activation?
Sure. And
I was like, yes, we do. That's how it kind of started, the whole thing. And it was like, it wasn't a plan. There was no script. There was no, oh, we're going to do this many times, and he has to agree to these terms, and we have to agree to these terms. It was just like a spontaneous, organic flow, and we were just having fun. Mm-hmm. We're just having fun, and as the years went by, more and more and more people were signing up as this became really an interesting trend in the Balkan area. We kind of took him to Serbia and to Russia, and he was already traveling all over the place. So we kind of opened up a few places. It was really fun. Yeah, lots of fun.
Great. Thank you.
Is what Steve is really good at, having a lot of fun.
I see that. So it's your time now. I want to hear, how did all start? How did you get into Theta Healing? What happened? And later on, how did this magnetic heart activation come to you?
Yeah, there's the two points that are important. Getting into the Theta Healing, because it took me 9 years of working on myself to get ready to be able to receive the information about the activations. And before we started, I was telling you the story. Yeah. I used to live in Los Angeles. With my ex-wife, I had a dog walking business. And as Siniša mentioned, I'm in the process, a very slow process of writing a book, which the title of the book is going to be, But I'm Just a Dog Walker. Which I love. I love that, because I was literally just a dog walker, and now I'm lucky enough to be traveling to different parts of the world, doing this cool work and helping people, and blah blah blah. You know how that can go. So I was working in LA. LA has rain, earthquakes, fires, and as I mentioned earlier, one of the fires is destroyed where I used to live. I used to live in the Pacific Palisades, so that's gone. But I used to work out of there. And we'd had a week of rain, and it was really bad rain. And finally, after a week of rain, the sun came out, and my wife at the time says, oh, the sun is shining. And something inside of me clicked, and I thought, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard anybody say. And I made sure I told her that I thought it was stupid. And I just was a jerk for about 3 or 4 days. There's nothing she could do or say was okay. I was just rude. And after 3 or 4 days, I kind of go, she's really doing nothing wrong. There's something wrong in me. I got to fix this somehow. I have no idea how I'm going to fix this, but I got to fix it. And so I talked to a few people, and one of my friends, a lady named JP, she had introduced me to Theta Healing before. She had taken the class. I'd made friends with her. And anytime she would take a class, I'd go and buy her coffee and ask her questions for 3 hours, because that was the way I could kind of get some of the information. And she says, remember that Theta Healing that I told you about 2-3 months ago? Yeah. Come on over. I'll use the Theta Healing. I'll fix you. Okay. So I went over. And the reason I went over to begin with is because JP is not your average New Age
weirdo.
Kind of weirdo. That's the word, exactly the word I used. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Woo! She's got degrees from Stanford and MIT in mathematics and computing science and all this. So she's
she's established.
She's hard
in the hierarchy.
Hardcore, highly educated, brilliant person. And so okay, I'll listen to her. And we talked. She asked me different questions. What was your relationship with your mother like, and what was it like growing up? And after about 10 or 15 minutes, out of nowhere, I suddenly said, without thinking, I used to fight with my sister all the time. And growing up, I did. I fought with her all the time. Could not, she's 2.5 years younger than me. I could not win an argument with my sister to save my life. And as I said earlier, she turned into a lawyer when she grew up. So of course I could never win an argument with a lawyer, and a 7-year-old lawyer,
You're
so
doomed.
It was, because of that, there had been a belief I had taken in. I had learned that it's not safe to accept the love of a good woman. And that belief had somehow activated and become active in my personality for whatever reason I'll never know. So my friend goes, well, do you think you can change what you believe about stuff? Yeah. I'm pretty stubborn, though. It takes a lot for me to change what I believe, because I have a big ego and I'm stubborn. And, well, what if I go up and ask the Creator to change it for you? Excuse me? But again, because it was her, I said, okay, JP, do it. Fine. If you have permission, do whatever you're going to do. No problems. No resistance. And she closed her eyes, and you could see her eyes going back and forth as if she was asleep dreaming. Mm-hmm. Which, when you see that the first time when someone's awake, it's a little creepy. So she comes back, and then we use this form of muscle testing to find out what we believe on the subconscious level, and it had changed. Like, oh, and that was the whole session.
Wow.
15 minutes.
Wow.
Exactly. I'm still not understanding what had just happened. But, okay, it's JP, that's fine. I go home, go to bed, get up in the morning, I'm discussing with my wife what dogs we're going to be taking, because we have the dog walking business together, and suddenly I realize, wait a minute.
I'm normal, I'm not a jerk.
Exactly, I'm not a jerk anymore, I'm not pissed off like I had been the previous 10 days. Then I also realized, and this was even more important to my strange brain, I realized that not only was I no longer angry, the anger felt like it had just been a dream. It hadn't been real, as if it was something I made up. Like, wow, I need to learn how to do this. Because I already understood a little bit the importance of belief systems and how it dictates what we're capable of and what we attract to us. So, the founder of ThetaHealing, Vienna Steibo, was coming to LA in a couple of months. I signed up right away, and that was the beginning of me getting into ThetaHealing, which was a little over 25 years ago, 27 years ago, something like that. So that's how I started with ThetaHealing. And so I did that for a long time, and then 9 years later, I had started traveling. My ex-wife and I got a divorce, very friendly, super friendly. I've never heard of a divorce more friendly than ours, because both of us took responsibility for our emotions in our own way, different ways. My way was one way, hers way was the other, but we were able to do that respectfully, in a kind way. And part of that was because of the ThetaHealing work. I was able to kind of heal myself of some of that stuff. So I had started to travel. I'd spent 2 or 3 years in Norway. I'd started coming to Croatia. And the next thing I say is going to be a lie. I was sitting in the sacred jungles of Cambodia amongst the temples. And God came to me like a... No, I was having coffee. Yeah, exactly. I was having coffee in the Garden Mall in Zagreb. In November, waiting for my friends to finish shopping, and they were really slow, and I was annoyed. And I started doing some work on myself, some healing work on myself with the ThetaHealing technique. and I asked a question. What is it, Creator, that people need that would make it easier for them to allow the universe to bring them the changes they want? And these ideas started coming into my head that I'd never thought about before. It was important that it took me 9 years to get ready for that, because it took me a long time to kind of tell the difference between when I'm getting a real idea and when my imagination is just trying to screw with me.
Yeah.
You know, so I started getting information about these activations, and that's how it started.
I was one of your guinea pigs.
You were, yes. I had this thing happen, and so I started calling on my friends, some of my friends. He's one of them. I said, hey, I got this information, this weird thing I can do for people. Let me do it to you. Oh, I don't know, Steve. Oh, it'll be fun. Oh, okay, if it's going to be fun, then I'll let you do it to me. So if you're trying to convince somebody of something that's really weird, tell them it'll be fun, and they'll just... sorry, serious. And so I started doing it to people. And then a couple of people said, hey, I have a bunch of people that would want to get that. Go to this place on Thursday, and there was a whole bunch of people there. And I explained what little I understood, because I didn't invent this. I'm not smart enough to have literally created it out of my own mind. Intuitively, these ideas came, and my strength is to be stupid enough to do what I'm told. And so, you want me to do what? Okay.
You obey.
I said, yeah, sure, whatever you want. Yeah. Fine, let's try it. Is everybody going to be okay? Yeah, everybody will be fine. Okay, great, let's try it. And so I started doing it to people, and that eventually led to Siniša, and here we are. So, and it's taken its own life. It's lived its own life. It's developed itself over the years. Because I just, when I get the information, here's the next part. What do you mean next part? There's more? Yeah. You didn't tell me there was going to be more. You didn't ask, did you, Steve? Okay. You're right, I didn't ask. Okay, well, I guess there's more then. And that was the beginning of the second part, and on and on and on through the years.
So it's the way like you hear it in your mind, or it's like download something like that. It's from some higher beings, or you think it's from God?
I think of things in terms of the Theta Healing paradigm, and I mostly focus on what I believe to be Creator. Okay. Do I get information from other sources? Probably. Do I ask who's giving me what? Most of the time I don't care if it feels comfortable, if it feels loving, if it feels simple, if it feels, you know...
True.
Yeah. Thank you.
It resonates.
Exactly.
You know it's not your own mind. Yeah.
If there's a clear lack of drama, then, oh, okay, I can buy that. Yes, it must be good. So that's where it comes. Sometimes you're right. The first time it was kind of like my own voice in my own head. You know, the imagination is like a mechanism that Spirit or God or whatever, one of the mechanisms that Spirit can talk through to us. So sometimes I would hear the voice in the head. Sometimes something would happen that it wouldn't make sense to me, like the second level. I had started giving these the activation because it was just one part at the beginning. When I was in the mall, the Cambodian jungles, in the mall, I just got what I now call level 1. I didn't know there was going to be more. So I started doing that for people. And after a few months of doing that for people, I had a big crowd, and there was 2 guys sitting to my right. And I talked, and I said the stories, and everybody laughed, and I gave them the process through a guided meditation that I do, which is really cool. And in my imagination, I witnessed everything like I always witness it. It shows up, this happens, and this happens, and this happens. And we were done, but then my attention was drawn to these 2 guys, and in my mind, I saw something else happen to these guys. I say, Creator, what the hell is that? That's level 2. What do you mean level 2? And then I had that conversation. I just said, you know, what do you mean you didn't tell me? Of course, you didn't ask, Steve. That's how it showed up for level 2. And it's shown up in its own way. Every level is shown up in its own way. Often there'll be the voice in the head. Sometimes it'll just be like something happened to someone and I see something in my mind I've never seen before, and either I realize, oh, I have some kind of knowing. I have a knowing that, oh, that's, for some reason, oh, that's the level 5 or level 2 or whatever. A couple of times something happened and I go, oh, what's that? That's really interesting. Okay, because I'd be working with a client. And then 2 or 3 months later, I just ignored it. And then it happened again with somebody else. And there was like a little light bulb going, Steve, pay attention here. This is not just the healing for this client. This is something else. Hint, hint. You know, oh, the activations. So I kind of sat with it for a while and made sure I wasn't making something up with my imagination. And if enough time goes by and I feel comfortable, oh, that's the next part. Wow. So it comes in different circumstances. Is there always the voice? No. Sometimes there is. Maybe half the time there's some voice in the head. I hope not too many of your viewers are part of the psychiatric industry here.
No.
So it just kept on showing up when it was ready, or I was ready, or something was ready. And it just developed itself.
So there are 9
parts.
9 parts. But when you say I was doing that to people, what is it?
Okay.
What do you do to them? What do you do?
Okay, the first level. The way I believe I understand it, the heart and the mind both create magnetic fields. Science has shown that the heart creates a magnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain. So the heart has this important role that I believe is part of the way we communicate with the outer world through these magnetic fields that our heart and probably our body produces. I was intuitively shown or told that most people, most adults, one aspect of the magnetic field their heart produces causes them to have to experience the world as if it's happening to them, that they're a victim of the world. And that's pretty common experience of people, you know, depending on how much they've gotten into the metaphysical stuff and spirituality. And I was shown how to ask for the field to be slightly adjusted so that they're not so much, it's not so much happening to them, but they begin to have the possibility of influence over, number 1, how they react to the world, and number 2, what the world brings back to them by the way they choose how to react. And choosing both consciously and subconsciously. Choosing in ways they're consciously aware of and choosing a new way to react that they're not aware of until they make a different behavior. For example, so this is all level 1, okay? One lady says, Steve, can I tell you why I'm coming to get the 2nd level? Sure, yeah, great. Tell me. Well, my daughter, she's a teenager. She drives me crazy. She knows how to talk to me, what tone of voice to talk to me, what timing of which word to drive me crazy. And she does it every day, all the time. And since level 1, it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't care, in a good way. I don't care, which drives her crazy, which makes me really happy. And I'm so happy. I'll come to every activation you ever offer. I don't care. I'm so relieved. Oh my God. You know, and there's bunches of different stories, both involving conscious awareness of something having changed and just simply something changing underneath the surface that they didn't realize until after they behaved in a different way, which let the universe bring them a different experience. So this kind of subtle, interesting way of freeing people from some of their sources of distress, it's great. Does it solve every single problem? No, of course not. But certain things start to shift, and you start to have this new possibility that maybe it doesn't have to be the same as it used to be. Maybe I don't have to react the way I've always reacted. You know, oh my God, I've never done that before when this happened. Wow, I like that. One guy lives in Seattle. He took the activations online, okay? He takes the activations, really nice guy, a little obsessive compulsive. He says, Steve, he sent me a long email. The first part of the email, you know, 2 or 3 sentences. Oh, I figured out what my part is in my relationship and how I can change to make a better relationship. Oh, that's nice. Second part. Oh, I can see the paintings. I'm really a painter. I'll be able to start painting. I'm so happy. Third part. This much writing. You know, part 1, part 2, third part. Every day he goes downtown and he's face to face with his greatest enemy, the Seattle parking meters. For months, he had never been able to figure out how to use those bleepity bleepity bleep parking meters without paying too much money. Drove him crazy. He goes down the same day. Oh my God, I know what I've been doing wrong all this time. I win. I finally beat the parking meters. You know, I'm going to save enough money in 43 days to get the next activation. It's so great. So, I mean, these are kind of cute examples. There are more serious examples as well, but it just, in certain things, it just frees you to not have to be the victim.
Well, when you say they took activation, what does it mean? How do you do that? Do you give them some guided meditation? Do you put your hands on them? How the process works?
Okay, that's
technically.
That's probably the question you asked, and I'm in some other direction.
Yeah, I know. What do you do to them?
Oh. It's a guided meditation. Okay, I take them through this guided meditation, which is not really unusual, but it's nice. You connect to the chair, you expand out and become one with the room, the building, the city, the earth, the universe, out past the universe to the place of the angels and the masters, out to the laws of creation, and then out all the way to the sparkling white light of everything. And I'm verbally taking them there. And then I let them sit in silence for a minute or two and be the light, be the silence of the great I am. Then, the next thing I do, I was initiated years ago by a female Indian guru named Saima to give diksha. It's kind of like a blessing. And so I figured, okay, the diksha is not part of the activations, but I got all these people here, why don't I just give them diksha anyways? Because it's cool. So I give people this diksha. I say, okay, quietly, if you want the diksha, quietly inside your mind and heart say yes, and the energy will come to you. If you don't want it, no problems. It'll go around you to the next person. And then I start the activations themselves. I will go up to, they're just all sitting here quietly. I'm telling them what's going on at every step.
It can be done in group and
in huge groups, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had hundreds and hundreds of people a few times. And I connect with, through the whole process, I'm connecting with the Creator, and I'm asking Creator to do this in a particular way that I was told to ask. And I witness it for everyone, and they just receive. So I don't actually physically do anything to them. I guide them through this deep meditation, and it happens.
Yeah, but somehow it goes through you in a way.
Yes and no. The difference between Theta Healing and some other wonderful things, like Reiki, wonderful, love Reiki, okay? With Reiki, the energy comes through you to the person. I have no problems with that at all. That's really cool. I've had great Reiki sessions given to me. With Theta Healing, we connect and go up to the space of God or the creative energy of all that is, and ask for that energy to go and do the stuff. So the energy doesn't technically come through me. I act as like the messenger. Hey.
Like facilitator.
A facilitator. Yeah. I say, hey buddy, hey God.
I know you.
Yo. Is it okay if we do this activation for these people? Please, thank you, and show me. And the creative energy of everything goes and does the real work. I witness it in my mind, which allows it to kind of come into reality. I'm not special. Anybody can technically do what I'm doing, okay? So it's not like I'm powerful or anything. I'm not. I'm just a guy. I used to be a dog walker. That's all.
Maybe he's a humble person.
Maybe. We don't know.
I think he is.
Maybe he's pretending.
Yeah.
And that's technically how it happens. And so I ask for it to happen. In my mind, I watch certain things for each level so that I perceive that it's been completed. That's part of my job. That's part of my participation in the work. And they have great experiences.
Yeah, I've had really, really cool stuff happen to me over the years. And one of the things that attracted me to do this work was actually Steve's technical side, even though he doesn't admit it, because I'm an aerospace engineer. And when I heard Steve explain it in the beginning, I was like, oh, this is something. I mean, I was a young guy, and Steve was adding words like particles and magnetic fields into this lecture.
Scientific,
and I was like,
you know.
Oh, this must be really interesting. So I kept listening to what he was saying, and it kind of made sense. He mentioned that there's these two particles in the heart that are rotating or orbiting each other, that are creating one of the layers of the magnetic field, which, like he explains, makes usually almost everybody perceive as the world happens to me. And I was like, wait a minute, I have that perception that I'm like, this happened to me and this happened to me and this bad thing happened to me and it's everyone else's fault. It's not my fault. I was like, yeah, I have that perception. So I was like, okay, I'll let him do it. What harm can it be? He says it's a good thing. So, like he said, at the time, in his vision, additional particles came into the matrix. And the layers of the magnetic field kind of became more complex. Like they could allow more potential to be used by the human being. And this made the person realize that the world isn't happening to us, we are happening to the world. We are producing thoughts, emotions, we have belief systems, we have energy, and it's the thing that we are doing. We are radiating out, and the world is being reflected back to us. So if we change something in ourselves, we're going to get a different reflection, because we're going to radiate out something differently. And the perception of that is actually what changes, that enables all these other things to happen. So my perception went from, I'm the victim of all these things, my mother was like this, the college professor crashed me on the exam, it's not my fault that I didn't study, it's his fault.
Yeah, usual stuff.
Yeah. So I went from that's happening to me into, wait a minute, I am the owner of this event. So if I did something that created something that I don't want, that means I can create something different inside of me to create something that I do want.
It gives you power back. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're not victim anymore.
Something like that was my perception at the time, and that motivated me, like, okay, I'll go do this crazy thing with the Canadian-American
dog walker.
Dog walker, yeah. So I did it, and for the first 3 days was one of the most blissful days of my life.
Really?
It was funny.
He talked about unity consciousness in the lecture, but afterwards I really felt connected to the world. I loved the government. I loved the university. I loved,
You're going to scare people off with the love the government thing.
Yeah, only 3 days, guys. Only 3 days. So I loved the pigeons that pooped on my shirt. It was wonderful.
Everything was perfect.
Everything was perfect. And I decided to make myself a little table. I was in my basement in the workshop, and I was trying to do it. And I kept breaking it. And whatever I did, I just couldn't make the table. I pushed too hard and I would break the material, and I had to go to the shop and buy a new piece. And after about 2 hours, I began being so angry, like really, really angry. And I was like, where's the blissfulness? What happened here? I lost the enlightenment. Steve, I want a refund.
I lost my mojo.
I lost my mojo here, yeah. So after about 2.5 hours, I got so angry, I had to stop working on this table, and I went back home. And at the time, I already learned to do Theta healing, because Steve was actually my first teacher. He went for he came to Croatia for a short period, taught me how to do it, and flew away. So my first activation was online, really. It was on the distance. And so I went home. I was feeling this super, super intense anger. And I went into the meditation, and I thought, the creator of all that is, God, what's going on with me? And I saw this vision of me 10 years earlier when I was a teenager, and I was having a romantic, like I fell in love with a girl, and we just couldn't, we were too young, we didn't know what to do with each other, and we didn't know what to say, or we didn't know how to act. And we were basically, you know, we went on a date and we were just sitting next to each other and we were just quiet.
Awkward. Yeah.
Very awkward, yeah. But I fell in love with her deeply, and I resented myself, and I was angry at myself for 10 years, and I didn't realize that I've buried this so deeply in my heart. So what I really asked of the universe, I wanted money, I wanted good grades in college, I wanted a car, I wanted this, I wanted that. But the heart was stuck with this anger, and because usually the manifestations and what we want comes from the heart. The ideas come from the mind, but the heart, the emotions, the passion makes us really do it and manifest it. Yeah. So I was having this underlying anger that was blocking me. So when Steve initiated the process of the activation, the stuff had to leave my system, because I couldn't manifest a car and a girlfriend and money with all this anger. I was manifesting from anger, and I broke things. Mm-hmm. And I lost jobs, and I broke relationships, and for whatever reason, I wasn't letting it go. I don't remember the exact details, but I kind of went through the process of releasing this anger. And later on, we found out it doesn't really matter if you do the work or some technique or meditation. The stuff is going to happen anyway. You can accelerate it with some healings or, you know, self-reflection. But it'll eventually, the process of the activation will push out squeeze out the stuff that's blocking you out of you.
Yeah, it's like kind of purification, which brings all stuff up on the surface to see it.
Yeah, something like that. And Steve has a good analogy about purifying gold and silver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like with the whole kind of raising consciousness and stuff. I really like better the idea, or the way of saying it, refining our consciousness. Because all the things we experience in life and the stuff happens to us, and then depending on what work we do on ourselves to try and heal, just like Siniša described, the negative energy, the anger, the sadness, the whatever, kind of comes to the conscious surface to be released, so we can kind of clear it away with whichever technique we choose to use. Theta healing, meditation, activations, whatever. And that, once we got through that, then we have a new level of purity, a new level of, literally a new level of enlightenment. Because enlightenment is usually just little bits at a time. Yes, very rarely does it go from here to here, you know, except for 7 people in history. Yes. So, yeah.
And after this kind of little shift happened, I noticed some interesting things in the real world. I mean, real physical reality. I used to have lists of things in the morning. I would write to myself, what do I need to do? I need to go to this professor. I need to get this thing done. I need to buy this. And I was very frustrated because I would write maybe, I don't know, 14, 15 things. And in a day, I would get maybe 3, 4, 5 done. And I was frustrated because I had to rewrite them for the next day. And after level 1, what I noticed is that I would get 12 or 13 out of 15 done.
Ah, you get super productive.
I was beginning to be productive in a way. I wasn't super productive, but I was productive closer to my own expectations. I was getting things done. And in regards to manifesting, I noticed that after this level 1, of course, first on me, and then as I saw the other people, I saw that it's happening to them as well. This manifestation process gets shortened. It's like when you think about something and you feel something, there's less and less time required between what you want and when it happens. And I realized that part of the process is this kind of a uncomfortable effect a few days after that, let's say 3/4 of the people experience, where they have to kind of let go of these old negative emotions that were stuck in their body. And after it happens, manifestations, kind of the speed increases and they become much more aware, like this consciousness inside of them expands. They begin solving problems like the guy in Seattle. He finally figured out how to use the parking meters. Well, I finally figured out how to do some very complex equations in the aerospace university. When I was doing it, I just couldn't figure some stuff out. After level 1, I could figure out some really complex equations. It just popped into my head how to do it. It was really interesting. And that's the main reason why I took the second level, because I saw the effects, like I could connect what happened in my life to the process I was doing. And that motivated me to move forward.
Great. When you talk about these 2 particles in a heart, did I understand correctly? How do they relate to soul? Who are we exactly as what is our true self aside of body? Let's go into metaphysics.
As far as the 2 particles, I'm not sure. This is just part of what I saw, and the 2 particles, whatever they are, whether they're literally physical particles or quantum particles, I don't know. All I know is I saw them going around each other, and a bunch more of them being added to the matrix to create a different thing which adjusted the magnetic field. So to the part of the question about the particles, how are they related to who we are? I don't know. Who are we? I don't know.
Who knows?
I mean.
Who are we not?
Who are we not? Yeah. Who are we? Who are we not? I don't know. We seem to be connected to everything somehow, and we just forgot that we're connected. And so we created a disunity consciousness where we think we're separated. I mean, I'm still not Siniša, and Sinisha's still not me, but we have more of an appreciation for each other, partly because of the activations at certain levels, but also the more we all, not just he and I, but the more we all kind of clean our stuff and take responsibility for our emotions, even if they're not what we consciously tried to create. For example, you and I and everybody inherit stuff from our ancestors. We inherit physical stuff, we inherit emotional stuff. And sometimes that stuff we've inherited, which can include pretty crappy belief systems about other people, or about love, or about war, or about whatever. We didn't create that, at least consciously, but we inherited it and it's ours. And so if we can identify that when I behave this way, that means there's something inside of me that's creating it, even though consciously I don't like it when I behave this way. What's this really about? And, so I take responsibility for myself in this new, different way than most people do. We find ways of conversing with our internal self, with the ancestors, through our genes and our DNA, with our past lives, with our soul, with whatever. And we take responsibility not in the old way of thinking about responsibility. You're responsible, you're to blame. Yeah. No. We just like, oh, I'm experiencing something in my life that I don't like, whether it's the outer world or my behavior or my reaction to something, or in my case, growing up, fortunately I never got into drugs, but I was a compulsive overeater. You know, I was easily, at one point, 20 years ago, I was easily 25 kilos heavier at least than I am now. And the process of doing different processes, which includes theta healing and other stuff, and I kind of go into myself and say, where's the wound? What's the belief that's causing me to feel like I'm a victim? You know, let's change that. And I have tools now, which I didn't have back when I was a kid, to kind of go inside, ways of going inside, finding the deeper reason why I'm experiencing, attracting crazies, which I did for many years, until I kind of found where is it inside of me that's causing me to need to attract the crazies. And the universe goes, oh, you want crazies? I've got a good one for you. Oh, you'll love her.
You'll love this one.
She's one of my favorite crazies. Oh, yeah. And I'm going, oh, God, help
so
me.
Funny.
You know, but until I kind of dealt with what I believed about women, what I believed about love that wasn't helpful, and used different techniques like theta healing and the activations to change them, once I changed them, once I took responsibility in that way, then the universe goes, oh, you don't want the crazies anymore. Okay, well, I got a really cool lady over here. Here, Steve, George, Steve, whatever. So, I don't even, what are we? Who are we? We're little pieces of God, I guess. We're little pieces of God that decided to come down and forget for a while and think that we're not part of pieces of God and think that we're victims so we can have experiences.
Yeah.
That's one possible answer. Yeah. I don't know.
And this is a way for us to remember, because after I've gone through the activations, it helped me remember about me. I wasn't separated anymore. I became like, it's one thing to read about it in an article, like to read through, oh, you're one with God, we're all one with God.
And
it says in the Bible.
You understand and you agree, but you're not feeling it. You're not living it.
Yeah. And after the activations, it kind of shifted deep algorithms inside of me where I was like, oh, that's what they meant. Oh, that's okay. I get it now. And I started applying it in my life, and I started seeing some actual real life results. And in a way, it made me a happier person, which is, I think, a lot of people are really after through maybe shopping or buying things.
Or eating.
or abusing other people. But the truth is the happiness is a state of being. So the outside things don't give us. And whoever gets a lot of stuff realizes that it doesn't make them eventually happy. They have to find it in themselves. And this shift, I mean, I'm probably lucky in some way to have met Steve quite early in my life. I was 23 when I got introduced to theta healing, and I was 24 when I got the first activation, I think. And I started realizing these things quite early. And I see many people. I built the Theta Centra later with Nada, and we had thousands and thousands of students and tens of thousands of clients. And a lot of older people come and they say, Sinisha, I wish I knew this before. My life would have been so much easier. And I say, well, you know it now. Yeah. It's not too late.
That's only that matters. You know it now.
Yeah. The
it's
current
never
moment.
Too late.
I was in Belgrade a few years ago, and we were doing a recording with Aura camera, and this lady came, and she had this beautiful blue aura. And one of the explanations of the blue aura is that it's people who who are healers and helpers.
Yeah,
and,
very empathic people.
Yeah, and they like to be doctors or
veterinarians.
Veterinarians, yeah, that
Not
heal the
veterans.
animals. And she, when I started talking about this, she cried. She was 65 years old. And I'm like, just waiting. I didn't know what to do with her. She was so much in pain, obviously, and crying for 5 minutes straight. And when she finally calmed down, I said, what's going on? Did I say something wrong? And she said, no, you said everything right. I was supposed to be a veterinarian. I wanted to heal the animals. But my father had a company and he needed a secretary. So he forced me to go and study economics. And then I worked all my life in his company as his secretary. And I just went into the pension a few months ago. So I spent all my life doing the wrong things. And now you tell me I should have been a veterinarian too? My life is over. The life path was missed completely. I am a complete failure of a person. And I'm like, excuse me, lady, are you dead?
She's like, only 64. There's
she's
30
like
more years at least to live good.
How can you say this?
Yeah.
How can you tell me? Of course I'm not dead. What do you mean? Well, if you're not dead, there's still time. Yeah, you said.
Of course.
Like 20, 30 years to live.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but...
change everything.
What do I do? Well, I say, sign up for college. Are you crazy? I'm 65 years old. You want me to sit with those cubs, with those little babies in class? And I said, well, what if you die in a year? You would have gone through the first year of college in the direction that you actually wanted to go in life. She was like, oh, yeah. What if I die in a lecture because I'm too old? Well, then you die in a lecture, but at least you were on the right path.
Yes.
You're right. I should get a college degree. And it doesn't matter if I die trying. And I come back 2 years later in Belgrade, and I was doing another workshop. And one of the ladies in the workshop was the friend of this lady. And so I asked, what's going on with this lady? And she said she went for college at 65. She's on her second year. She changed her life. She's so grateful, and she's going to be a veterinarian.
Great. That's
Go
such a
out
nice
of pension,
story.
back to work.
Not such a nice story. Yeah. It's very inspirative. Something is in my head. When we start some kind of spiritual process, it usually comes up to this, when you said these dark elements come up on the surface. And some people get scared of it. They think it's something wrong with the process. They shouldn't, return back to the old ways. But it's somehow expected, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
not
it's
on each level.
Yeah.
Not on each level.
within the parameters of the activations. There are some levels that it's more active, like the first level. Other levels of the activation, it's less. That happens less. But generally, yes. For the vast majority of people, the spiritual path doesn't start and then you're blissful for the rest of your life. You usually need to face the parts of yourself that you've been repressing, or
Dark night of the soul.
Dark night of the soul, or whatever pain you hadn't been able to deal with because you just didn't have the tools. You did the best you could. You did wonderfully, even though you think you failed. You didn't. You're still here. You made it through things. It's gonna happen, and you're not alone. I don't know of a single person personally that hasn't had some really difficult times along the path. So it's not like you're dumb, because you're not. You're actually one of the brave souls that have chosen to go down the path and be willing, consciously or subconsciously, to face the parts of yourself that have been hidden or have been repressed or oppressed, or that you had to shove aside just simply to survive, either emotionally, physically, or some other way. So it's normal, unfortunately. and find people that are going through the same thing. So you're literally and physically not alone. So you see that there's other people. Be nice to yourself. Yes. You're magnificent. Not everybody does that.
Yeah. Yeah, people are scared. They have some concept of a spiritual life. They will come and then they will be in bliss and peace and meditate. Everything will manifest. True. That's really misconception.
But it's true that they will get it. I mean, it happens.
It happens in the beginning, like initial, they get it, but later on.
Later in waves. So
in waves.
Waves, and that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Or spirals. I don't know.
Yes, very good. Yes. So.
Yeah. So let us speak more about the magnetic heart activation. So in which countries did you do it, and how do people in different countries respond to it?
It's really interesting. I've been in a lot of countries. I've been in a lot of places in the world. I've been really lucky. All of the Balkan countries, Norway, Germany, Sweden, Canada, US, Australia, Russia, as Siniša said.
Mexico,
North
Taiwan.
Korea.
I wasn't in Taiwan. I did them in Thailand. I taught a class in Thailand. And a bunch of countries. I can't remember all the countries I've been to, Turkey. Which is a good problem. Turkey, yes, I went to Turkey. So a lot of them. I've found generally, with the general population of the countries I've been to, most of the Eastern European countries are more open than the northern countries. Russia also, they're an animal of their own. They're really, I love Russians and the Russian people and everything. They're very open to lots of stuff, completely different mindset than the West. So the Slavic countries especially, very open. South American countries, open, but a little bit more into some of the drama of good versus evil kind of stuff, which is
more dualistic.
A little bit more dualistic. Love the South Americans as well. I mean, that's kind of silly to say because I'm going to say that about all different countries because I just love people. Yeah. So, but yeah, Slavic countries.
Slavic cultures are the best,
especially
and Balkans is the best.
Balkans,
Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here, aren't I?
You're in Split?
Yeah, I'm in Split. And
it's the center of the world.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I've been to that palace. That's amazing. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It is. Can you believe it? Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Such a good energy also.
Very interesting.
Did you feel that?
You know what I felt? I felt like some of the people that have the little shops in the palace. Those that don't know Split, there's an amazing ancient palace here. You have to come see it. And I felt like many of those people keep on coming back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime to spend their life in the palace. And maybe before they were a swordsmith, or maybe they were a horseshoe maker, or maybe there was a sewing cloaks or something. It's really, what a fascinating place. Yes. I loved it.
Yeah, it's really old. There's lots of mystery around it.
A lot of mystery. Oh, I bet it's, yeah.
Yes. Well, okay. So we spoke about 9 levels of initiation, of activation. So maybe we can go through these now, maybe in more detail.
Yeah. So we talked about level 1 mostly. Level 1 causes, just to review one small thing. Level 1, most of the time, the pattern most of the time for most people is they'll have 2 or 3 days of bliss, like Siniša was saying, and then anger or sadness or jealousy or whatever from the past will come up and to be processed out. It's kind of like eating McDonald's for 20 years and then switching to fresh organic fruits and vegetables. The stuff comes to the surface. There's a detox. You get to start seeing some of your problems, not all of them, some of your problems from a new perspective. And there's a new level of self-compassion that happens in level 1. Okay? You start to appreciate, you start to appreciate yourself and what you've been through more, which opens you to greater genuine compassion for other people. In my opinion, just my opinion, to have real compassion, the most genuine compassion for other people, most of the time it has to come from finally having compassion for yourself first. Okay, that opens the door for a new level. And compassion is, in my mind, a prerequisite for wisdom. Level 2 is about wisdom. It's like, you know, many of us feel that humanity is going through an awakening, a spiritual awakening, a metaphysical awakening, where we're starting to kind of see through some of the Maya, some of the illusion of our so-called physical world in different ways. And we're not the first civilization in the universe, probably, to have gone through it, okay? You know, Palladians, Arcturians, who knows where and who they really are. Yes. But others have gone through it first. And it's like some of that old wisdom is starting to come in to be received in level 2, where we begin to have this new, mostly subconscious at first, a new awareness that, like let's say you get level 2. You go out and we have them, and you come back into the room you're always in, and you look around, and this happens for several people. Why does this room feel different? Everything in the room is in exactly the same place it's been in for the last 3 years. Why does it feel like a different room? It feels like a different room, probably because some part of you realizes that this cabinet isn't physical. Okay? You're still going to, if you hit the cabinet hard enough with your hand, you're still going to hurt your hand, but on some deeper level you realize it really also, the quantum physicists are right, it's also just photons and information. Yes. So it's the same room, but there's a new wisdom, there's a new awareness that happens after level 2 that allows for that. And at first, for a lot of people, it's a little disorienting. It's like, what the hell is going on here? You know?
Yeah, it was banging doors and
going through walls.
Breaking people's side view mirrors because you didn't see them, you know. Oh, sorry.
Bad orientation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
2-3 days, and then kind of it sits in.
Yeah. And then
needs a little bit of adjustment.
And then there's many people report an improvement in their intuition after level 2, which is very cool. A lot of people feel buzzing in the back of their head during the process. Buzzing. So that's kind of the basics of 2. 3 is the divine feminine, the deeper divine clothes. The deeper divine feminine opening up inside of you. Probably, my belief is primarily the divine mother energy, but the broader spectrum of the divine feminine opening. It's like this door opens from inside your heart, and this energy comes and starts filling your body, filling your heart, and giving you more of this divine feminine presence in you. And you begin to have a deeper, personal, intimate relationship with your own internal feminine. And we make the joke, but it's not a joke, because it happened at least 3 or 4 times where women complain because, kind of for fun, but they're complaining because after, by 2 weeks after level 2, they've bought 7 new dresses. And they have really good taste, and they're expensive, and it's my fault.
And the shoes.
And the shoes, yeah, my God, the shoes.
And bags.
So we make that joke, but it's real. Men receive level 3 as well, and it's just as important for men to have that deeper divine feminine awareness as well. There's a saying in old Ireland, most genetically, mostly I'm Irish. Irish and a bit English, and there's some Southern Europeans somewhere underneath a rock somewhere, I don't know, I've been told. Never teach a man how to fight until he knows how to play a musical instrument or say a poem. That's a powerful statement. Yes. And that reflects, for me, the possible effect of level 3 for men, which gives them more power. Level 4, the divine masculine comes in to be received by the new feminine. They come together and they create a huge power structure in and around the body. This is the way I see it in my mind, which looks just like a Tesla coil. The cross, an Egyptian ankh and a Tesla coil with the cross and then the thing. It's a power structure. It causes the chakras beyond the 7th, the 8th and 9th to start to glow and to start to kind of have the power turned on, let's say. 5th is about our deeper identity. We all identify, this is me. Maybe my aura, whatever. Me. That's not me, this is me. Our deeper identity projects out through the newly activated 9th chakra and expands and inhabits the grid of all creation. So in a way, kind of, sort of, energetically, our identity includes the grid of everything. It literally, in my mind, it literally looks like a 3-dimensional grid, where they're now inhabiting the grid, and that's part of them in a new way. Were they always part of the grid? Probably. But this is some deeper aspect of it, in my opinion, after how many years? So that's 5. 6 is Sinisha's favorite.
I love that part.
Everything contracts and comes inside of us, also in a new way. This is how it looks to me. In fact, the way I watch it, the person even kind of folds in on themselves a couple of times, where they are also now inside of them in a new way. And then
science fiction.
Yeah, I know.
I'm listening and I'm trying to visualize it.
It's like 5, whoosh, 6. It only works if you make that noise. You're natural. So 6, everything is within. And 6 is when, it's so funny. 6, spontaneous, natural, spontaneous, organic manifestations start to happen. Now this is not, I want a car and I want it to be blue and I want it to be a Ferrari and I want this and then I want a house on Pog and on Broch and then I want a plane and no. This is, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I had an ice cream? Oh, wouldn't that be great? And then some kid walks up to you and says, I don't know why my mom gave me 2 ice creams. Here. And the universe gives you an ice cream.
And that happened to me so many times. You remember the envelope story?
Yeah.
So I was in the office and we ran out of envelopes. And I'm like, there was only an envelope somewhere around. And somebody walks in with 2 envelopes in their hands. It says, I have an extra envelope. I don't know where it came from. Does anybody need an envelope? I'm like, yeah, I need an envelope. And I took an envelope. And like 2 or 3 weeks later, there was an activation and Steve's saying the story about the kid with an ice cream. And I was like, that happened to me with the envelope. I was like, oh, this shit works.
Yeah.
And the time happens.
Yeah. And another interesting thing that happens, some people have not a lot, not too many, but some people have a conscious experience in some moments of being connected to 2 or 3 or 4 points in time simultaneously. It's like they're in each of the time moments somehow. I have no clue how that works. It sounds really cool and science fiction-y, and why not? Because, we don't know really how everything really works.
Limitless.
Yeah, we're limitless.
Consciousness,
So there's about half the time it happened when people were doing theta healing sessions, where they're in a certain state of consciousness and state of mind because of the connection to source and everything. And suddenly they're like in 2 or 3 points in time connected to the person they're working on. And they realize the connection of things that shouldn't be connected, and that particular weird combination of awarenesses in multiple points of time is the thing that solves the problem, for example. So, instead of just, we all experience time like a line, linear. Yeah. The future's in front of us, the past is behind us, this is the present, and that doesn't go away, of course, but there are occasional spontaneous moments where, time isn't linear anymore. It's this other thing. Maybe it's a circle, maybe it's a sphere, who knows?
Cyclical, like...
Yeah, like a spiral.
Word? Cyclical, yugas, like yugas.
Yeah, something like that. And quantum physicists are already saying, and have been saying probably for several years, that all time is simultaneous. Again, I don't know how that works exactly, but that's an accepted fact within the high levels of the quantum physics world. So that's...
And a lot of people reported, to me as an organizer, later I get emails and messages about stuff, and we realized that for some reason, the level 6, like people really sit into their mission, like their divine timing or whatever they're supposed to do in life. After they receive level 6, it's like before they had doubts. What if I can't do it? What if this is not my mission? There's something else is my mission. It's like all those things kind of dissipate, and the person gets like a clear vision of what they're supposed to do with their life. And we had lots of people reporting that for a long time. Like, after level 6, I finally get it. I finally get it, what I'm supposed to be doing here on this planet. And then they just begin doing it. And yeah, we don't hear from them for a while because they're doing it.
Because they're busy.
Yeah, they're busy. And then after a while, they come back and say, oh, I've done so many things. I heard there's level 7. Can I take it? And then...
level 7.
Then level 7. So please, Steve.
Level 7. So now, starting with level 7, it starts to get more esoteric, even more esoteric.
I'm looking forward. That's my specialty.
It's
Metaphysical activations.
We'll go to one of the results that was a surprise to me when Siniša told me he's getting reports from different people. Very often, for many people, people's general fears in life begin to lessen dramatically.
After getting level 7.
After getting level 7.
Yeah.
It seems to be, the way I think I understand it, it's like the connection between our brain, our pineal gland, and soul source, but soul. The bandwidth kind of goes from a cheap coffee shop Wi-Fi signal to like a hardwired T3 supercord, or whatever the technical terminology is. And so the communication on this deeper level is more active between the soul and the person, particularly. And they seem to be able to grasp complex concepts more easily if it's a subject they're actually interested in. Okay? So there's like this gestalt, dropping of gestalts into their brains depending on what's their purpose and what do they like and stuff like that.
It's like they get an update from the soul about stuff.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, yeah. It's kind of like both Tesla and J.K. Rowling. Tesla just had things drop into his head.
Yeah, he could visualize it.
He'd visualize things, he'd see machines, he'd test machines.
Yeah, he tested.
Holy crap.
Yeah, what a person.
J.K. Rowling was sitting in a train as a welfare mom, and the whole Harry Potter story came, and it took her years to write it out because it was so profoundly detailed and archetypal. 2 examples. So it's a human potential anyways. But 7 seems to kind of amplify that possibility for us. 8.
I'd like to tell a story that I haven't told you actually. I just remembered that one client, she had a fear of driving. So she went through the driving school and passed the exam. She took pills and to calm her nerves, and she passed the exam, but she was afraid of driving. So for years, like 5 or 6 years, she didn't drive. And she got the level 7. And after that, she came to me and said, Siniša, I just don't care anymore. I sat in that car and I drove from Zagreb to Split and back in one day, and I just didn't care anymore. The fear was just erased. It was gone. I just didn't care to have a fear anymore. It was stupid to have a fear. I was like, oh wow, I have to tell this to Steve. I just told you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Sorry, Steve, level 8.
That's okay, that's okay. Level 8.
8, yeah.
Yeah, so 7, they be getting more and more esoteric. 8 is, the theme of 8 is to kind of make we have expectations of how everything works. Conscious and unconscious expectations. If you sit in the chair, the chair is going to support you. You just sit there, if you go forward, then if you go forward far enough, you walk into the wall. That's just life. You have to walk a certain distance. It takes time. That's what you expect because that's how things work. We all have expectations of how things have to work. 8 is about so we live in this little cube of our expectations, which are sort of some of our limits. emotional limits, metaphysical limits.
What we believe is possible.
What I believe is possible, yeah.
Like, I can't sing. That's my limit in my mind, that I can't sing.
Right. And these barriers become less certain. So that, like a couple of ladies in Russia, they had very clear expectations of what's possible, not possible for their lives. And after level 8, they started questioning that. And at first it was very uncomfortable to question the limits they have about what's possible in their lives, what they can do and not do, and what they should and shouldn't do. And so they took about 2 or 3 months of facing this discomfort of that they shouldn't feel what they're starting to feel. It's bad. And they were brave. They did face it. And then they began to change how they did everything in their life afterwards. Because the expectations that they believed in, whether they were expectations from the outer world or from their hearts or from their ancestors or whatever, it suddenly was less certain, which created openings for something else to happen. So this level 8 is about that kind of thing.
It's really metaphysical.
But it's more metaphysical than emotional, but it has emotions touched. It's like, now this hasn't happened. I wish it had, but it hadn't. If it actually happens, I'll probably freak out. Somebody has not come to me and said, "Oh, I teleported." There's a story of Vienna, the founder of ThetaHealing. She was in a hotel teaching a class. And there was the big room she was teaching in, and then there was the rest of the hotel with all the rooms, and there was an elevator here and an elevator here. She and two of her friends at break went to this elevator here, went up into a room to get something or whatever. Came out, went back into the elevator, came down, and the story goes, I did not witness this, okay? They came out this elevator. They went in this elevator, came down, and exited this elevator. And it's kind of like a form of teleportation, possibly. That's one possible explanation.
Bilocation.
By bilocation.
Bilocation, huh?
And something, my belief is, which may or may not be correct, okay? My belief is they, for some weird reason, they had some expectation to come out of this elevator door. And so they did. Which makes sense because they're in this class that's all about higher consciousness and moving objects and healing.
Yeah, everything's possible.
Everything's possible in this level of consciousness.
So why walk the corridor when you can just come out the other side?
And that you expect to come out of this one first because you were just kind of lost.
Yeah, there are no more those beliefs,
yeah,
boundaries.
Didn't even think about it. You're not even thinking about it. It just happens because you go into this room over here. So it'd be easier to come out this door subconsciously. So level 8 is about beginning slowly to work with those levels of expectation to allow more possibilities. That's the basics of 8 real quick. 9, finally.
9 is really, really interesting because it came on the pyramids.
I'm looking forward to 9.
Yes. We were in the pyramids, in the Bosnian pyramids. And we were we doing a group? Yeah, we were having a small group.
Yeah, we did activations in one of the tunnels.
Yeah, it was a test group for the big group. And we were doing it regularly. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and then something happened.
It didn't happen during the activation. We were in the tunnels, and they have these stones in the tunnels. Yeah. And these are kind of man-made. There's something about them that's man-made because they're
monoliths.
Monoliths somehow. They all have their own energy or something. I don't know how to explain it very well. And one of the stones is a small stone about half the size of your table here. And it's called Mohanji stone. And the guru Mohanji, who I think lives in Slovenia or something, he had visited the pyramids, went into the tunnels and found this little stone and was meditating on it. And he said, oh my God, this is the best energy for meditating ever. I'm not using his exact words, obviously. But he loved the energy on the stone. And so Sam, the organizer for the Mohanji stone, and they measured it. There's a kind of measurement called Bovis. They measure something called Bovis energy. There's this guy Bovis who figured out a way in the 1800s how to measure an energy using a pendulum. And this particular stone has one of, maybe not the highest, but one of the highest measurements of this Bovis energy, which is kind of like a life force energy, emanating from the stone or around the stone or something. So I'd been in the tunnels and I went to Mohanji stone and I was sitting there meditating a little bit. Oh, this is great. And then somebody else comes along and okay, I get up and let somebody else spend time with the stone and there's these little side rooms, these little caves. You can go with benches, you can sit and meditate. And so I got up, I let whoever group wanted to sit on Mohanji stone. I went into the cave, I sat down, I meditated for a while, not with any intention, not with any purpose other than to meditate. The energy and the voice, the annoying voice comes back. Hello, Steve, this is the creator speaking. Just kidding. That energy is the 9th level. What? Nothing. Okay, I just left it alone. Well, the following 2 or 3 weeks, the little voice would go, that energy on Mohanji stone was the 9th level. And so it happened enough times where I said, okay, I surrender. It's not just my brain trying to trick me. This actually feels correct. So the 9th level happens. Here's the mechanics as I understand of the 9th level when it happens to someone. I expected something to happen in the heart. It didn't. It happened in the solar plexus. And it's like this little mini vortex or something opens up in the solar plexus area of the body, and this high frequency, I assume, Bovis energy, which is, I assume, similar to the Mohanji stone energy, fills the person's body.
Life force energy.
This kind of high frequency life force, whatever you want to call it, chi,
Prana,
life force,
yeah.
prana, I don't care what the name you call it. Whatever it is, that's what it is. And it's like, ooh, it raises people's vibrations.
Significantly.
There's not a clear pattern of feedback that I'm getting about the effects because each person experiences that one very personally. One person will start kind of having this new awareness of how reality works. Another person will just look like to a few other people like they're glowing and floating as they go out of the room after the activation. Some people don't feel anything, but consciously. But it seems to be a really super high vibrational thing, and it stays with people a long, long time. It's like it goes up really, really high during the meditation and the process that I do, and then it'll settle down a little bit, and it'll kind of float about like this. But they started down here. Before the activation of level 9, during the process, whoosh, process is over, go home, settle in a little bit. But so started here, so they've gone from here and they settle here.
Yeah, so it's a lot higher than it was.
And they remain there.
They seem to remain there, yes. One lady in Istria, she's very interesting. She's a scientist. So she's a hardcore real scientist. I don't know what field exactly, but she is. But she's also into the metaphysics as well, because she sees the connection between high science and metaphysics.
She's intelligent.
Hello, duh. And she brought a pendulum. And she said, hey, let's measure you before, because she hadn't received level 9. She was going to get level 9 that night. Well, she brought her pendulum out and she tested her energy, and her energy, according to the pendulum, was doing this. About this big a circle, more or less. Do the activations, we finish the night, come back, big, 3 times as big. Okay, that's cool. I saw her I think it was 2 days later, or maybe 3 days later. She came to me for a private session, just for stuff with ThetaHealing. Oh, let's pull out your pendulum. It was not as big as it was the night. It was probably still this big, but it was still at least twice as big as the original one. So after 3 days, the pendulum was still, she was still keeping a pretty high level of effect from the process. So,
and it seems to stay that for a long time. And a lot of people, they came for level 9 multiple times because they want to get a boost. And as an organizer, I have received maybe one consistent feedback. It's like people get the energy to do what they need to do in life on a higher level than before. So like in level 6, they figure out what they need to do, but maybe they don't have enough energy all the time to go and do it. And after level 9, it's kind of Red Bull thing. You get a boost and then you go do the stuff that you need to do, but it doesn't wear off so easily. It lasts for months. Then people come back after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months and they want it again because they liked the level that they were operating on. And sometimes the world around us kind of tries to draw us back into the negativity.
Yeah,
so
in old patterns.
In old patterns, and it seems that this level 9 keeps people high, above the
like
clouds.
Stable,
Yes.
Does it, all these activation, do they require a change in lifestyle, or do they initiate it?
they don't require anything.
Okay.
Sometimes it's natural that some people will change some aspects of the lifestyle.
That was I thinking,
when we do the activations, before we start, we do a small group of downloads to prepare people for the activations to make it better. That I've gotten these downloads as part of the process over the years. And one of the things we download into people so that they accept is no matter what benefit, including high-level spiritual woo-woo benefit you get from this, it does not mean you are required to change anything about yourself, about your life. You don't have to change your relationships. You don't have to change your job. You don't have to be a nicer person. You can still be a jerk if you want. Nothing is required for you to change. Do people change? Yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes they live the life the way they're continuing to, which is great. No problems. But if a change comes, it's
spontaneous.
They want. It's spontaneous. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Perfect words.
It comes naturally.
It comes naturally because of their shift and this next level of refinement of their own consciousness that they've received from the activations.
What would you say is the highest goal of activations? Like, is it the God realization? It is self-realization? What is it?
Wow, what a good question. I think it's helping. I think it's to help people continue to refine their consciousness. What's the highest possibility? I don't know. Some whatever level of self-realization / God realization that they're here to achieve in this life. And for some people it'll be way up here, and some people will be here, and some people will just keep on cruising, but they have a better life. Everybody's on their own spiritual path. And I don't have any kids, for example. Probably I'm not here to have kids. I would have had them by now. I've not been a monk. Other people are here to have kids, and a lot of them. That's their goal. Other people are here to, like the lady, to help animals. Some people are here to get to this. Some people are here to get to this. Some people are here just to have a good time because they've had 17 lifetimes of this and it's time for a party. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. They want a little bit of fun, rest.
What's right for you? I don't know, you and your soul, and that's up to you and your soul and the Creator.
Steve has a very metaphysical explanation of activations, but I'm more of a practical guy. I'm an engineer, so I'm thinking, how can I get this thing that will make me better so I can get this other thing that I want? And
you're super practical.
I'm a practical guy. So when I heard him explain stuff, and I realized, life, if I look at life like a video game, in a video game you want to get boosts and you want to get coins, you want to get, some kind of a package that will make you stronger or get a better shield or sword or something to make you play the game better and have more fun and win or whatever. And I realized that, if level 1 gets you out of the victimhood and makes you a better problem solver, if level 2 gets you better intuition, if level 3 makes you better emotionally intelligent with women, that's good. If level 4 gives you self-confidence, if level 5 blah blah blah, this is like boosts in video games. I can get an activation and I can get an improvement of my personality, of my character, of how I do in life. Wouldn't it be great if I can get more intuition? Yeah, sure. I'm like, click on this and get installed in intuition into my head.
Like in Matrix movie.
Yeah. So, I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of helped me understand it for me. Because a lot of my friends that are like technical and they don't get this metaphysical stuff. A lot of people are spiritual and they want the metaphysical explanation. But other people are more practical and they want like, what am I getting out of this? Mm-hmm. Like, is there like...
Is there any practical value for my everyday life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I can tell you, this made me emotionally a lot more intelligent with ladies. Mm. I mean, I avoided some situations, I went into some situations, but I was a lot more aware. And in that awareness, I could feel their emotions and I could feel my emotions, and with the intuition, I could kind of sense what to do and what not to do in a different way than before. Was I a perfect partner? No, who's a perfect partner, but it kind of helped me to understand things better than before the process. So even if I didn't do it perfectly or I didn't do it right, I had another kind of helping hand in the process. And in business, in my education, and traveling the world, I could anticipate what people need and kind of talk in a more maybe softer way with more compassion than before. And I could say, oh, well, if I'm talking with more compassion and people understand me better, then we can cooperate better. Maybe I can get what I want, maybe I can give them what they want, and we're all happy. Oh, so that's what activations do. Oh, okay, let's do some more. And that kind of explained stuff to me on my practical brain. And if I push this button, I'll get this thing.
Effect, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, great. That's really important. So let's talk a little bit more about this raising consciousness. You mentioned something in the beginning, and this unity awareness. What can heart activations do for community, for like whole planet? Can something be done on this? Like if many people attend these activations, like big groups, can we raise consciousness like collectively?
I believe so, yeah.
Is it already something done in that regards? Have you made some like big activations in big groups?
We've had groups of a few hundred.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically,
people.
I'd love to do a football stadium.
Yeah.
Or get
why
on.
Not?
Yeah, why not? It'd be fun. And you've probably heard of something called the Maharishi effect.
Sure.
Okay, it's the basic idea is the same. As we get to use this particular metaphysical technology, we'll call it, of the activations, then people's awareness, self-awareness, their consciousness becomes more and more refined. They let go of more and more of the trauma, they let go more and more of the beliefs in violence or sadness or whatever, and bit by bit they keep on refining their consciousness or raising it and becoming the change they want to see in the world, as per Gandhi says. The more of those people that get that through this process, the more we're all contributing to the possibility of peace, to the possibility of abundance for everyone. Okay, it's not going to come from politics.
That's for sure.
It ain't.
But if politicians took these activations, oh my God.
That'd be, yeah.
So on the first level, you liked the government. I remember that.
I knew that was going to come around to
well
me.
Done, yes. Yeah, so it's, yeah, like anything. The more people that are meditating, the more it affects the consciousness of the whole planet, whether the other people want it to or not.
We're all connected. Yeah.
We're all connected, and nothing you can do about it. Sorry, pal. We're doing these activations, and we're going to pull as many people up as we can.
You're raising your consciousness.
Raising your consciousness. Too bad. Ha, ha, ha. Fooled you. Why not? Because that's what happens. Like yeah, I mean, you know the whole kind of idea.
Yes, yes. So let's talk more about the events of activations. How does this typical activations event look like when you do it in a group? People come and they all do one level. It's not combining different levels in one group. Just some technical stuff. How does it look like?
Well, it's pretty easy. We usually do it in the evening.
Okay.
Like, say, 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
And it can be done online, in groups,
yes.
individually?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We usually do it in groups. It's a lot easier to...
For a specific level?
No.
It's like an event where Steve gives a talk, and during the talk, which he explains a lot like the stuff that he said in this podcast, so it kind of raises the vibration of the room, and all the people kind of start yawning, and like they can feel the vibration of the space start to happen, whatever this thing is.
First couple of years, I thought I was just boring.
Yeah.
Because they yawn.
They're all yawning. They're falling asleep. I'm a horrible speaker. Oh my God.
You should step up the game and make
geez.
a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I still fall asleep. I mean, not fall asleep, but it's kind
But
of
people
like
relax,
get
basically. Yeah.
deep relaxation. Yes. And then we do the process, and there's breaks and explanations, and there's another process that helps out. And basically, we go home. There's nothing that they need to do.
You don't need to know about them, about their problems,
No.
and what they want, and who are they.
Basically, yeah. But part of the question you had is, do people come just for one level, and then another group comes for the next level? Everybody comes in the same group.
Okay.
So we guide everybody else up, all the way up to this sparkling white light. Let them be the light, be the silence. I do the diksha that I talked about earlier with the, And then we give level 1 to everyone in the room. Even if you're here to get level 9, you get level 1 again.
Okay.
And I close my eyes. I like to make the joke, okay, we're going to do level 1. And then at level 1, the first miracle of the night is going to happen. I will actually shut up for about 2 minutes. So at level 1, I do the process, and we go, okay, level 1 is complete. Then now, for everyone that's here to get the second level or above, we give level 2. The people that are here the first time, they get level 1, they stay in the room. We don't get the magnetic heart activation police to come and pull them out violently.
You're not allowed.
Not allowed, yeah.
Another room.
They stay in the room and they just enjoy the rest of the meditation, but they'll only get up to the level they're here for. So they'll hang out. They'll probably feel a difference in the energy. Many people feel a difference in energy, even if you're just getting level 1, as we go up the list. Okay? But they'll still just get the first level. The people that are here to get level 2 will just get level 1 and level 2. They'll get level 1 again, because they came the first time. Now they're coming the second time to get level 2, so they'll get both levels. Level 3, the same thing. They get level 1, 2, 3.
But you can take only one level at a time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, the voice in my head.
And you cannot skip the levels.
No.
You should. Okay.
Yeah, you can't skip levels. You're allowed. We require you to take roughly, more or less, within a couple of days, about a month minimum in between each level. We don't give level 1, 2, and 3 all at once. We just give level 1. Next time, whenever you're ready, as long as it's a month or longer, then you get level 2.
If it's 29 days, we're not going to kick you out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody is in the same room, and the energy just makes sure the right person gets the right level, up to whichever one they're here to get.
Have you ever seen some difficult side effects after activations?
Yes and no. It depends on the person's perspective. As we said, old, especially level 1, old negative emotions can start coming to the surface that hadn't been dealt with back in the past. Like Sinisha's example of anger. I had one lady who took the activation. I was in Norway broadcasting it, and she was in Palm Springs. The first 2 or 3 days, she had that same bliss that Sinisha talks about. And then she started having all this really intense jealousy towards her ex-husband come up. And she'd been divorced for 10 years. And part of the problem of the marriage was jealousy, and what he was doing or not doing, I don't know, and it doesn't matter. But she hadn't finished. This is somebody who does not run away from her emotional work. She does everything she possibly can, and she did everything she possibly could to heal emotionally and to deal with her jealousy and to get over it. But there was still something left inside from the past, and so her experience of that was this intense jealousy coming up, just like a detox, coming up to the surface. And she said, literally for 36 hours, I had this intense jealousy, and then suddenly, whoosh, it was gone. And I was free from the bad feelings of the marriage in a new way I had never been. So,
it's like a burden you don't know you're carrying, like a backpack.
Yes, yeah.
You only realize that you carried it for so long when you release it down.
Yes, you feel light, you feel reborn.
Yes.
But are there maybe some persons who are not fit for this, or everyone can receive first level? What about persons who are maybe have some mental issues, or
If they bring this to our attention, we'll tell them to go check with their doctor. Not that their doctor knows what we're talking about, but I would never suggest that if there's any question that we say, oh yeah, don't worry about it. No, if you're having a concern, then you're having a concern, and my advice is to not do it. I don't think there's a problem, but I'm not going to make the decision for somebody whether they should or shouldn't do this, because it's just it's their responsibility, and it's my responsibility not to decide for them. Mm-hmm. So I'll turn somebody away, but if they're scared, I'll say, well, here's how I feel. We've had other people that mentioned this before. They went ahead and did it, and they were fine. I don't know if that'll happen to you, so I would suggest you feel into it, and if you're still scared after thinking about it, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as
you're not ready.
If you don't feel ready, then you're not ready.
Yes.
Do it when you're ready.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Yeah, wait a little bit.
Yeah, take your time.
What about kids?
Yeah, kids can.
Kids can.
Kids take it all the time. Yeah,
huh?
Yeah. Some people.
They love it.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and people that take it online often say their cats and dogs come and lie down, and as soon as we start the meditation,
also animals,
they'll come and lie down while the meditation is going on. As soon as we're finished, they get up and leave. It happens a lot. It's really great. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about practical stuff, Sinisha. If someone is curious about joining, about learning more about this, what's the next step? Where they can find information, where they can register, where are the centers throughout the region?
So, obviously we organized Steve for Croatia for many years. So ThetaCenter.com is the website where people can get all the necessary information in Croatian, so all the people from the region can read it in their own language. And there are sign-up forms there, lots of more text. Each activation is explained in detail, and they can get more information, they can sign up. So it's pretty easy, just ThetaCenter.com, there's a schedule there. And anytime they'll be watching this, if there is a next activation coming, it'll be on the schedule on the homepage of the Theta Center. So no big secret there. And we do it in person in Zagreb, in Rijeka. So far, every month we've been trying to keep up the schedule on that. But also we're open to come to
Split.
Yeah.
Atma Centra.
We'd love
Yes.
that. Love that. I love this room. You guys are
it's
awesome.
really nice. We've done it in the Radisson Hotel a few times. It was good. Some nice groups there. So if there's anyone willing to organize it in any city, they can just contact us. There's contacts on Theta Center's website, and they can get in touch with us, and we can see if we can accommodate them to come to their city if it's possible in person. But we also have online. So we're broadcasting each month from the Zagreb event. They can join in and have, like, they're watching TV, they can join in the broadcast. That's with translation to Croatian. And we also have an international activation every month online. It's for all the people from all the countries that Steve ever visited. They get an info, they can join, and it's in English only, yes, but a lot of people now understand Zoom has amazing translation technologies. They can get a translator and have it separately on a different channel. So if anyone wants their own translators, they can just, take care of it themselves. We'll just broadcast pure English.
How long do these activations, these sessions last?
It's like 3 hours,
Okay.
three and a half. It's one evening, let's say.
Okay. Yeah, we can do something in Atma Center. I'm just thinking in
Yeah,
advance.
it'll be fun.
Super great. Yeah, we'll put all those infos in pinned comment and in description of video. So if you're interested, and I think you are, you should check it out. That brings me to my last final question. I always ask my guests some nice inspirational message for our viewers. And I don't know who's going to do it first.
Young man.
You decide, guys.
Well, what I can say is that when I was thinking of what to say, I'd like to inspire people who have gone through any kind of difficulties in life, maybe harder than regular things. Like, my father died when I was 13 years old, and he died of a heart attack right in front of my eyes. So that left interesting vortex of energy inside of me and emotions. And I dealt with it in a very manly way. I suppressed it. So for 10 years I was a walking stone, emotionless being, trying to do something in life. And I didn't even realize I was gone until something started happening. I started asking questions, and I started to be introduced to answers. One of the answers was ThetaHealing, and the other answer was activations. So I asked a question to the universe. I said, I have this thing, help me. Send me something that's gonna heal me, that's gonna help me, that's gonna solve this problem for me, and I can move on. So if anyone's there and they've gone through a difficult time, they're looking for an answer, I found it, and maybe this is also your time to find something as well. So this could be something that can help. We've done around 10,000 people so far. Wow. And I've seen massive shifts with people, and old ways stripped down and new ways introduced. So if anyone's looking for a new way, I suggest, give it a try. Worst that can happen is nothing.
Love that.
Yeah, it takes some people take a few months to see it, actually. They don't see it in the first few days or weeks. Nothing happens for them, probably because there's a lot going on underneath the surface. And then like 6 or 7 months later, they come to me and say, Siniša, I've done nothing in between. This has to be from the activation, because right now I'm seeing problems solved, and I'm having, I'm not a victim anymore. I'm not letting my boss molest me anymore on my job. And I didn't do any therapy or anything. The only thing I did was the activation, and I thought it didn't work. But now 6 months later, I'm not letting my boss beat me anymore, or cut down my salary, or be a bully. And I've never been like that in my life. So this must be the activation. And I'm like, that helped. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Siniša. Steve?
Just be kind to yourself. People treat themselves so badly most of the time. If you're judging others, you're also judging yourself. Give yourself a break. You have been through a lot. You are still here. You're doing the best you can. And for today, that's enough.
You're talking to me? I really take this, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just for me.
Yeah, just have some compassion for yourself too. And take a breath, and then you take the next step. And then you take another breath. So just try and be kind. Try and be kind to yourself. Give yourself a break. That's basically it.
Thank you, guys. This was really awesome. Very nice conversation. I loved it. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wish you all the best in your endeavors, in your mission. And I hope to see you in Atma Center Split.
I would love it. It would be so great.
Yeah,
It really would.
Amazing.
Let's see what universe has in plan.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dragi gledatelji, puno vam hvala što ste bili s nama u još jednoj epizodi Atma podcasta. Evo ovdje iz Atma Centra Split za promjenu. Do nekog sljedećeg puta želim vam puno pozdrava iz najljepšeg grada na svijetu, Splita.